this kid on my shoulder here, if he's going to have any kind of a future, we have to get fair distribution of the wealth. And we're going the other direction. We thought we had elected somebody who at least wasn't going to make things worse, and now there's more and more giveaways to corporations without any responsibility by them. We need to tax the rich appropriately and use that money for a federal jobs program to fix the environment, fix our infrastructure, and put people to work. What was said was we need to be austere. We need to cut programs. We need to cut the programs that support the most vulnerable people in our society. We need to cut programs that will also cut the jobs that run those programs and cut more public jobs. We need to privatize everything and make more money. That's what they're saying. That's basically what this policy is doing.
What brings me down here is the moral and economic travesty that this sugar-coated Satan sandwich debt deal is. I'm not surprised by it, but I believe that we have to keep organizing to fight for jobs for everyone, and not have ourselves deflected by this deficit BS. And what we have to do is continue to fight against budget cuts. You know, it's going to take masses of people to do it. It's really what's happening in the United States is what's happened to a larger extent in England and in Greece and other countries. And this is really basically Act 1 here, and we can't just let it stop. And I'm really glad that people are out here, but obviously people are kind of a little bit shell-shocked, and we have to continue our fight to have no cuts to the safety net. It's going to be even harder now, but it's because the debt deal locks in certain horrible cuts. However, the good side is that more people are aware that both political parties, not just one, but both political parties aim to cut Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, other things that low-income people need, and that they want to do that to further enrich Wall Street and insurance companies. So more and more people know it. You know, I've been reading progressive Democratic blogs, and people who are usually much more supportive and compliant with the kinds of deals that go down in Washington are really pissed off. So that's good. There's going to be more people fighting. I find it tiresome, actually, to keep hearing people saying Obama has to stand strong and he should not be weak and have a spine. He's got a spine. He's standing strong. He believes in cutting Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and he doesn't believe very much in closing tax loopholes. I mean, this is really where he is, and I think that's what people are waking up to. I mean, Obama created a deficit commission a year and a half ago, composed of Alan Simpson and Erskine Bowles, who are both anti Social Security, Medicare, and want to see it privatized. So he created that deficit commission because, and created the whole idea that there had to be cuts to the budget. Obama was just as much part of that as Republicans. It's not like he was pushed into that. He did that. He also could have invoked the 14th Amendment. Many people, just recently, many people have said that. Who has said that? Ed Schultz on KPOJ, Bernie Sanders,
Bill Maher,
a lot of people, other people in Congress and pundits have been quite clear. Clinton said it. I mean, he's no radical. So Clinton suggested that. So Obama could have done that, made a clean deal, and stood up and said no to any of these budget cuts that working people have taken it in the shorts for 35, 40 years, even more in the last 2 years. It's time to stop this BS. But he could have done that. It's not like he was weak. He didn't want to. His money and his allegiance is with corporations. He said in 2009, David Brooks said this in the Times. Obama said that he was interested in seeing Social Security cuts because it's all you can see is a sea of red ink, which is a load of BS because Social Security is solvent. But he was already talking that way in 2009.
Hey Obama, get a clue. It's about revenue. Hey Obama, get a clue. It's about revenue. Hey Obama, get a clue. It's about revenue.
My name's Tom Hastings, and Since I teach a bunch of peace studies classes, we look at the war economy and what it would take to have a peace economy, and everything that they're doing in Washington has been transparently in favor of the Pentagon. They put the Pentagon completely tilted toward massive overspending, and then they say that from now on we're going to cut the Pentagon equally to everything else. Well, they're starting from an unequal spot. They're starting out of balance, and they're just going to continue that. So that's part of why I'm here today. I just feel like when we have literally tax loopholes big enough to drive a battalion of Hummers through for the rich, and they're unwilling to talk about raising any kind of revenue for the good of the country by taxing corporations or people who manage to avoid all the taxes because they can hire a fancy attorney to find themselves huge loopholes, that's just wrong. The alternative media has been at least balanced. The mainstream media, even the media that gets labeled as the so-called liberal media, completely bypasses these huge areas of consideration. When I listen, for example, sadly to National Public Radio, they'll completely skip over entire questions in favor of asking, so do we cut more Social Security and Medicare, or do we cut more education? They never go to, well, we need to have defense cuts that are really quite serious, because defense cuts, even if you look at what the experts say who are retired military at the Center for Defense Information, they all say that for 1/3 approximately of the current military budget, even if you believe in a violent militarized defense of the United States, that could be provided adequately with 1/3 of our current military budget. So 2/3 of the military budget would completely close this financial gap. We're talking about ending this problem completely by revamping the Department of Defense. And that's not outside the ambit of reality, it's just outside the consideration of mainstream media, which is a real shame. I regard Obama as having basically started at the middle and then just gave, and the right wing maintained their unity, their solidarity, and gave nothing because they negotiated from the far end. It was a pure and simple adversarial negotiation, and Obama's not very good at that. He comes at it from a new way of negotiating, and he doesn't know how to do it quite properly. In fact, I wish he would enroll in our negotiation class at PSU. We teach it pretty well.
The rich people don't want to see they don't want to have to pay more taxes. They got those Bush tax cuts. It's supposed to be temporary, but Obama's backed down on it the last time, and this time, obviously, they're not part of the deal. The rich people and corporations don't want to see that, so that's why. I mean, it's basically that. They are very much in control. Of course, we can't depend on Obama and Nancy Pelosi, who voted for this debt deal. We can't depend on them. And I think that's, as I said before, that's the good part of this, is that I think people are seeing that we can't depend on them. Those are not the people who are our buffer from the people like the Republicans who are rapaciously want to keep their money and get our money and all that. But what we have to depend on, and this is more and more, is ourselves.
So that's the whole idea, is to the race to the bottom, you know, to reduce overhead, which means less wages and benefits and higher profits. That's what the Obama administration has been pushing for.